Times were tough, so I sold my soul.
Star Trek Picard makes me sad, but I'm not the only person in the universe. What does everyone else think of it? Let's take a look. Well, IMDB says 8.1 out of 10. IMDB ratings are fluid, of course, but it's the 1st of March 2020, which is a couple of days after the premiere of episode 6 out of a 10-episode series, which means there has to have been time for this to settle down, so clearly everyone loves it, right? 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 User reviews, sort by helpfulness. This will give us a good picture. I really wanted to like it. Sorry, I've got to go with the negative nods on this one. Lens flare. Again. This makes me sad. I am at the moment watching 5th episode. I was forcing myself to watch all of these episodes, expecting it might get better, but honestly, I am disappointed and angry.
While some are falling over themselves slobbering this show with praise, I, a fan since 1966, will not.
Initiate auto-destruct sequence. When the JJ films landed, I was disappointed, but I enjoyed them for what they were. As long as I told myself they weren't really Star Trek, I could accept them. Discovery, a politically driven and unapologetic lip service to woke ideological nonsense, was both insulting and disturbing, but fortunately felt so far removed from Star Trek that it almost went by unnoticed. There were at least characters I liked and moments I enjoyed. Now this... The only thing this has in common with STNG is character names. It's just another action show that has ditched everything that was good about its predecessor. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. Why? Just why? Why does it have to be this way? 2 stars for Patrick Stewart making the best of a bad situation. We have reached dumpster fire status. Star Trek was philosophy, humanism, and moral dilemmas presented in a gracious, profound way. It was theater, it was inspiring, it was sublime. Star Trek The Next Generation was the last bastion of culture in the TV series. And this is what writers can produce now. This is their best. This is what corporate art did with the most cherished franchises. This is woke culture. Ultra-violence, obscenity, and a discount production. This show has zero connection to the Trek canon, as most of us would imagine it. Star Trek for me stopped at Enterprise. Everything after was just a mistake. Some may argue that Enterprise was also a mistake, and I get that. But Enterprise had a couple things that Picard doesn't. Number 1. Character development and camaraderie between crew members. In Picard, it seems like every member of the La Sirena crew is just an independent person of no crew on their own mission, with their own agenda, like they only happen to be on the same ship or something. I care for none of the characters aside from Picard himself. On any other Star Trek show, even Disco, the crew is a family that look out for each other and become friends. The characters are likable in those shows. STP? Not even close. This show resembles one of the more boring next-gen movies, except even slower, darker, and less like Star Trek than ever before. If you enjoy very slow, very poorly written, incoherent messes like the rest of anything Kurtzman has ever been involved with, well, you probably still won't like this show. Don't waste your time. It is boring, not Star Trek, and dragging as if they plan to have 2,000 episodes.
As for bringing back Picard, why is CBS so afraid to do something truly new? An entire new cast go into the future rather than making prequels, weak reboots, and retreads?
Number 2, dynamic episodes. Throughout the first 2 seasons, all the episodes, with the exception of a couple 2-parters, were their own unique adventure, with ups and downs along the way. Not every episode ended on a happy note, but unlike Picard, they at least had some episodes that ended happily for the crew. Over 50% of the episodes centered on an exploration of a new idea or object with some fun action squeezed in there. In Picard, it's just depressing episode after depressing episode. All sense of wonder is destroyed, and the beginning of episode 5 really took me completely out of the Star Trek universe. I have never experienced writing as abysmal as this, ever. You can really feel the 2020 writing in these episodes, and it is awful. Creative decisions where? I see none. Gave up after episode 5. It's not Star Trek, it's Star Trash. I struggled through the first 4 episodes hoping it was going to get better. It never really did. But the final straw came at the start of episode 5.
I mean, the unneeded over-the-top gore and violence I thought was, well, completely off-putting, so much so I stopped watching the movie. Why on earth they need to put violent, gory scenes like that in Star Trek, as well as the multiple F-bombs, make no sense to me.
Don't subject yourself voluntarily to torture.
All creativity seems to have been completely cut off. What was once one of the largest TV franchises in American history has now become a second-rate pay-to-view streaming show, even with the A-listers such as Stewart and Jerry Ryan. Can we talk about Icheb for a second? What was the point of his character arc in Voyager for him to just get randomly murdered? So stupid how this character I really loved, one with a learning arc of redemption from his time as a Borg and his journey to self-betterment, just gets horribly mutilated and shot at the beginning of the episode. Voyager left a legacy with him, and Picard just threw it away like it was garbage.
In episode 5, I am expected to watch a man get his eyeball drilled out of his head and listen to him screaming all the way through it. I don't want to see that on any show, but on Star Trek it makes me feel betrayed. I want to watch ST with my grandsons. I don't want torture and sadism featured on my favorite show.
The first 5 episodes could have easily been done in 1 episode.
So all in all, if you want to be depressive, sour, and hopeless, ending up lacking the mental power to wake up the next morning to make the world better, I can recommend Star Trek Misery, Picard Edition. If you want something opposite, watch The Orville. Also, you want to see good gritty sci-fi with good strong characters, watch The Expanse.
For all of this, I do not consider Star Trek Picard canon. STP will never be a part of my canon. My canon ended with Enterprise. To CBS, get a grip now! Nobody wants this. If you are going to tell a story with these legendary people, you'd better respect the greats that came before you. You have lost my respect, and by the looks of things, the respect of millions of ST fans. If you're going to spend millions on a new series, then get Anson Mount, Ethan Peck, and Rebecca Romaine back on screen for a Pike series. Invest in writing that you can expand upon. You have a decade to work with before Kirk takes over as captain, so add to canon. Seems like such an easy decision to make, that millions of us are willing to pay for. You had an opportunity with Picard, and promptly wasted it. A piece of shit. I tried to force myself to watch it, but tonight I had to stop deluding myself. It won't pick up if it didn't pick up by now. 6th episode. This isn't just worst Star Trek series, it is very bad in general. Boring, very slow and stupid. Very disappointed. First they tortured us with Discovery and now with Picard. Are we in Alpha and the writers in Delta Quadrant? I am not angry, but furious! Don't sell me defecation wrapped in a candy paper!
I can't get myself to say anything good about it. If this is the price I have to pay for fan service, I'd rather not pay it.
There is nothing positive to take from STP. The writing is both awful and politically motivated. If I thought Discovery was driven by woke agendas, then Picard just took it to a whole new level. The acting is appalling, especially by Patrick Stewart. The fictional science is unbelievably dire. It's cheap and crass. The swearing is vile. People don't watch Star Trek to be lectured by overpaid fools with no grasp on reality. The entire series seems determined to dismantle the great male icon. I point out the male part since women seem to be the ones constantly attacking him. Patrick Stewart is a disgrace for taking on this role again and allowing the legacy of Picard to be mutilated. He certainly has no place in the hearts of true Trek fans anymore. A sad end indeed.
Well, that was fun, and let me point out at this time that these were taken from the 20 most helpful reviews. When I sorted the list by most helpful, the top 20 are what I screenshotted, and these excerpts came from that. Anyway, join us again for more Star Trek Picard commentaries as we go through Season 1. The next one will be released, hopefully, in the next couple of days. Season 1, Episode 4, I believe, is what's next on our list. If we've already released that, go back and enjoy it again. This is Shaggy B, signing off.